Hello, this is Jumma game developer. Are you new here? So welcome. I'm Chakma and I'm the creator of this YouTube channel. Godot tutorials for beginners are mostly common in this channel. We have discussed about a lot of Godot fundamentals so far in this channel. If you are interested to watch those fundamental tutorials, for that you should move to my channel and learn Godot fundamentals on there. Right now, we are just going to discuss about simple FPS movement in Godot today. I don't think I'll need to explain what is FPS or first person shooters in general, because you would already have idea what is FPS and just came here to learn how to do this. For that, let's start the tutorial. You can see I have created a quick scene. I named it FPS demo and it's under scenes folder. I have put it under scenes folder, and it is actually empty, just with one root node. It will be actually the root node for the whole game that we will create. We'll not actually create a game, we'll just create a character just to show you guys how to create an FPS character in Godot. So first of all, we should make a floor to make our object move around. We will actually not even jump or add gravity, because it can be sometimes complicated for you guys. I will actually upload in future about making a FPS game, a shooting FPS game in future, with gravity and all the stuff that is needed to make a FPS game. But for now, we will just make a simple FPS demo, and we will need the floor just for making sure that we are able to moving around in our world. First of all, let's add a floor. We can use static body for this. Now you can see the static body is there, and of course it is a common error that is saying that we need a collision area. Actually it's called collision shape in Godot, to tell Godot where to collide and how to collide. Now we need to define the shape of the collision shape. We first of all, let's name this floor, and let's give the shape of box. Commonly our game object floor is going to be actually a box like shape. We would use plain meshes too, but let's not use plain right now. We will use cube mesh floor. Let's add a mesh instance for visibility of our game object named floor, and we will give it a box like visibility. If you are new to Godot, you should not directly watch this video. You should learn Godot on anywhere you like. Actually, you can also get beginner friendly tutorials on Godot fundamentals in my YouTube channel. You can move to my channel to learn Godot fundamentals first, then you can come here and watch this video. Then also, even if you watch my videos, sometime you would not be yet an expert right now, so I am trying to be yet a little bit beginner friendly too, even if it would take a lot of steps. Okay, whatever, you can also give other shapes. We would use a plane mesh, we would use this and rotate it, but for now let's use the cube mesh. And on this red and blue axis, this red axis is called X and the blue axis is called Z. And if we want to increase our floors, you know what to do. Our floor in X axis, if we want to increase on that, So we should just change this x of scale. This is actually x, and this is x of scale. This x defines how much bigger it is in this red axis. It is actually a local definition, not in global. And to increase it in z axis, our floor, we can just increase this z value of scale to 10, and it's all for the floor. Now if we will not actually use this floor anymore. Actually we will of course use, but we will actually not define anything more. We have defined everything that we need for the floor, so we have just locked it with this lock button. Whenever you select the mesh, you can directly actually will select the floor. It's a good thing. This lock button is useful, remember, if you are new to Godot. And now it's time to attach our player character. So to make a player character, we can use simply 2 or 3, I think. Actually, as far as I know, there are 2 things that you can use to make the player character. One is rigid body, that is all physics based, and another is kinematic body, that works like physics but not fully physics. But people actually use the kinematic body to make characters, and we are also making characters, which is a first person character. And with this you can see kinematic bodies icon is a character, and it is actually made for making characters. So kinematic bodies icon is to like a character. It is perfect for making characters, so we will use this. We will not use rigid body for this case. Right now kinematic body also needs a collision shape, and for characters, collision shape like capsule is really perfect. I want to mean this capsule. This is called capsule shape. And finally, not finally, we'll need camera too. Whatever. Let's add the mesh instance. You can search here actually to find a node. We have added that mesh instance too. You can also not add this thing, this capsule thing. It's just for visibility in our game. Here is our capsule, and I think we should rotate this in 90 degree in x-axis. Let's see if it's 90 degree. Yeah, 90 degree. And to make it perfectly aligned with the floor, we can just increase the y value to 2, I think. It's not perfect. Whatever, let me spend some time on this. Okay, 2.5 is perfect value, so you can use it. You can just select the kinematic body and change its property on the inspector window to 2.5 to perfectly align it with the floor. I don't think it's perfectly aligned, but whatever, it's good for our game. We are not making a complex game right now. We will make, but later. Let's add a camera node. I never add the camera to the FPS is actually a 3D thing, and this under this every node of spatial are only used for 3D but not for 2D. If you are in 2D mode, I think it will highlight this node, and you will not be able to get the expected results from this node as it is for 2D. And FPS for 3D, and if you use 2D on 3D, you know it's a mess. So camera create. Let me see where the camera is facing. First of all, let's make it come upwards by pressing, not pressing, actually giving the value 1. Let's press F to focus on it, on the camera, and yeah, it's just not bad. Okay, let's stay with this. Let's view the camera. Okay, it's actually for our visibility, the camera. We can't view anything without of camera. And oh yeah, I think this is needed to be on, this current, and okay, so it will be visible because of this current node is checked to on. I mean the world will be visible by this camera with this variable, and not variable, I don't think it's a variable. You can call it variable in Unity, but not in Godot. It's okay, whatever. Let's save this in. Now it's time for our scripting. We have set it up all the things that we will need actually. Let's lock these two for wait, let's name these two and then lock this. Good. I have set it again. Now it's time for making our script. I already have prepared a script which I can just attach to it, and it will be a little bit harder to you guys to understand this script. So I think I should not think about this script to attaching it and explain you guys. It is not the great way to explain. However, you can copy just copy and paste this script, but I want you guys to just to close this and make a new script for the character that on here. You can pause the video the previous seconds to copy the script. Now we will just attach a script to make it from scratch. I am going to put this on scripts folder, open, make sure it is GD script. Visual script doesn't work actually, so I actually don't upload about visual script in Godot. I tried it out by myself and it's really harder to do this visual scripting, and it will not work with like as it is not powerful like GD script. So we are using GD script actually. I should fix the video title to whatever. The template, we need no comments, and it will give us a clear script like this. Now we are ready for our script. First of all, what we will need is we need to hide the mouse. As we see in the FPS games, if the game starts to play, so the mouse doesn't get visible. I mean it gets invisible. To make it invisible, we need to use this function called input set mouse mode on the ready function to make it only invisible for the first time, and we under brackets we need to use this input mouse mode hidden, which will actually tell this mouse mode what to do. You should hide the mouse. Okay, set mouse mode, it will say like that, not like that. It will not actually say like that. Computer works very differently with binary numbers, then it's very complex than what we think, but let's not waste time there. and it will actually hide the mouse when we will start the game. By pressing here you can start the game, and you can see my mouse got hidden. Right now if we move the mouse doesn't work. If we press buttons it will not move because it doesn't know what to do. Just it will stay on where it was and will do nothing if we don't write any scripts and tell Godot what to do. Right now we need to add some variables, but before adding variables let's add this function, and then finally we will not finally actually we should place move with the mouse, I mean this character. If we actually just rotate this FPS characters, this rotation degree y of rotation degree, you can see it starts to rotate. Here it rotated. I don't know if you guys saw that this camera was on this side. Let me show you. When it was 0 it was on this side. If we increase this number it will move to left. Let me give a bigger number, 15. You can see it moved left. The more bigger number you will give, the more it will move to left side. The more lesser number you will give, it will move to right side. You can see. So just by changing this y of rotation degrees value, we can rotate our player character, and so our camera will rotate with it too as its child. And you know, if you have experience with Godot, why it will rotate with the parent, I mean the camera will rotate with the parent. Simply let's first let me show you what is this. What will happen if we rotate this on the parent, rotate the X thing. Actually if you rotate the X thing, you can see it will actually rotate the whole game object with the mesh capsule collision shape. And if we then press with what we will make, if we press the up arrow key, it will actually move upwards, not this front side, and we don't want that. What we want, if we move the mouse to up, just to make this camera look upward, not the whole FPS character game object. So in case of looking up and down, we should just change this value of camera, the X value of rotation degrees. If we make it 25, it moves to up. If minus 25, as this is a lesser number than 0, it will move look at down. So just by changing this X value of camera, we can solve the problem. The whole game object will not rotate with the camera, but we will be able to see the upward thing. And if we press the up arrow key, the FPS character will not, as not rotated in upwards, it will not move upwards, it will move to front side. So to do that, we need to calculate the mouse position too. Actually we have something called get viewport, I think. Let's see, yeah, get viewport, get mouse position. Yeah, this actually gets the mouse position. And what we will need to do, we will actually need to make something that will make the player and the camera move, I mean look around with the mouse. To do that, we will actually need to calculate the mouse position, how much the mouse moved to. And to calculate that thing, we need to vary three variables. First of all, was rotation. Let's name it previous rotation, which will contain the previous rotation value, and remember that it will be vector 2, and it means it will have only two values, x and y. Mouse has only two values, from left to right is x and from up to down is y. So putting a vector 2, as vector 2 has x value and y value like the mouse, it fits with the vector 2. No, remember that it doesn't fit with vector 3 as it contains an extra axis that is called z. Okay, whatever the previous position and the current position, I am showing you how we will make this thing work. I mean how it will be meaningful. And final variable for looking is what we will name it. We will name it rotated, like this, and it will be vector 3 too. Remember that. I mean vector 2. Did I say vector 3? No, it is not vector 3. It is used for vector 2, the rotated. And we will let me first create this thing. First of all, we at the last of, if we put at the last the previous rotation, it is actually mouse rotation. I would put mouse under this thing, this variable word, to make it meaningful. Whatever, we have already named it, and it changing it might take some time, and I don't want to even waste a second because my videos always get too longer. We need the previous position to calculate it, and after this frame it will contain the previous position, and on that time we will just set the current rotation to the current mouse position. The previous position will be at last named as current rotation. I mean not named, set the value of current rotation, what was the rotation, and after that it will not have the current position, it will have the previous position, like this. And then the current rotation will have this value, and you can see the value will not get changed after that frame, the last frame. Then if the new frame starts, it will contain the previous position and it will contain the current position of the current frame. And then finally what we can do is, it will also give an error with this. Don't worry, I am going to show you guys how to solve that. Rotated equals current rotation minus, and what it will do with previous rotation. By minusing the current rotation with the previous rotation, we will get how much the mouse moved actually, and we will get that value on here. And after that, actually previous, we are using previous rotation. If actually think about the most fast frame that will come on the game, you will see that this current rotation has the value on here. Then we are using current rotation there, it's fine, but previous rotation is yet and null, will be null. We have put this and it will not be null. I think it will be 0 and 0, whatever. Then also we are going to use something. Let me explain what happens if it is null. If it is null and you are making it using it on an operation, it is null and it is minusing from a current position with a null, and it will not work. Actually null will not be able to use on this operation because it has no values to minus from the rotated value from the current rotation value. So to make just not make it null, we can just send this previous position to here, and previous rotation will not be null on that case if we put it on the ready function at the first when the game starts. Then the process will start to run and it will actually always calculate 60 frames per second on this rotated thing. It will calculate how much the mouse rotated. And now we need the final thing of loop. We need 2 more lines for this loop function. Will not actually create even a function. Let me show you what I will do. Rotation decrease. What I said is we need to change the rotation decrease y. Let me show you again. I have shown you before that if we change this y value of rotation decrease, it will actually rotate, and we will get that y value of rotation degree by writing this code and set it to set a value. We need an operator like this and change it to, let me see, rotated y, I think. Let me think. Rotated, oh, I knew it. It will be x actually, not y. And then if you actually rotate the x of this, it will actually look at up. I have shown you before, but it will, the things we will make it move upwards if we loop up with this x value of rotation degrees of player character. But if we just change this camera's x, it will not look up and not move upwards. It will not move upwards that case. So we just need to change this x value to look up, to not make the whole body look up and move upwards. To change the x value of rotation degrees of camera, we will need to first need an access to the camera. Then we can put it on here to start defining the things. To get the camera, we should use on ready. I don't know why on ready is needed, but people of course use it, so I also use it to use the thing called get node. Let me see. Yes, get node, this camera. With this get node camera, we are getting this camera under this camera variable, and on the cameras we want rotation decrease. We have put that camera on this variable, and what we will do to this variable will affect the camera on it rotation, and we are now using that camera variables rotation degree x. We have gotten this camera's x of rotation on here, and we want to increase this if the mouse is rotated in the y, I mean on up to down like this. And it's, I think, all for the looking around code. Let me see if it works. Yes, the mouse gets invisible, and yeah, it moves. Look, it moves. Oh, the x value is inverted. Let's fix this. How we can fix it? And we can fix it just by putting a minus here, or you can give here into -1 to make it invert it. If you put minus in place of plus, it will actually invert the axis. If you put plus in case of minus, it will get inverted too. I'm not explaining in details because I think already too much time has gone on this coding. And oh, I also can see the y value is inverted. Okay, let's do something. If we just minus this thing, I mean put the value where it wasn't on that place, so it will be invert, the rotated will get inverted. Let's see if it works without of inverting the variables separately. Oh, it works fine. Yeah, it works. Okay, it's good. Let's move the mouse out of the window. And okay, it's all for the looking around code. Now we will need a code for moving. Actually, if you watch a simple top-down movement tutorial on YouTube, you can get a movement code that is very simple but doesn't work with FPS. It should look like this. Let me show you guys. Move variable move, and it will be a vector tree, as it needs the function we'll use will need to move in 3 axes. They are x, y, and z, and this move will contain those x, y, and z with the vector tree. Let's already get it put it with vector tree. You can see now perfect. It will not be null, I think, on that case, so we will be able to use the code that we want. Let me show you the thing that you can see on the YouTube. They can put like this, but remember it will not work on the case of FPS controller. You will need something called basis, but let me first make a simple movement. No UI, wait, I'm showing you guys what this UI left or up, or what these things are. UI up, UI down, UI left, and finally UI right. These are actually some things that you will find on the project settings improvement. On here you can see several things. These are actually can be input from mouse and keyboard and joypad and any kind of input devices. Not any kind of input devices, but okay, it will actually take input from joypad and keyboard. Let me see. Oh, also my mouse buttons too. Actually 4 things, not 4, 3 things. Actually 2 things for axis and buttons of joystick. And now UI left. Let me see. Oh, wait, before that I should explain. This left you are seeing is actually getting the left key button, and you have named it as UI left, and when you will actually press the left key, it will call this UI left, and the things you write under this if statement will be called if you press the left arrow key on the keyboard, and this UI left will be called, and the things you write under this if statement will work. for on that case when it's pressed. But remember this, that we want to you should, it's not, doesn't make my words doesn't make sense, I think. Whatever. Well, the thing I wanted to say is we actually want that thing to be happen because we want our player to move with the left when the left arrow key is pressed. And if we make this function written on here, it will actually start to define the left arrow key, and we have control over the player with the keyboard keys. The UI up is for up arrow key, UI down arrow key, UI left arrow key, UI right arrow key. With this all the keys, you are getting control of what you want is movement on the player, and that's better for our works. Let's press this plus icon and press this plus icon and press this key. It will actually read for a keyboard key to press, and it will map it, and when you will press this key, this ULF will be called, and we want, when this ULF will be called, we want our player to move left, and we will do that by putting things under this if statement. By that we are going to able to use these things, I mean make the player move. UI right, I'm putting this for some things to do extra things. You can also not do what I'm doing right now with this input map. You can just move with the up down arrow keys. You have shown it there that you can control this if statement with the left up arrow key, because you have written under this brackets of this function UI up. So what you will put under here of this if statement will be called every time it was holding, the button was getting holded. Okay, first of all, move should have an X, should move in Z axis. Wait, I'm showing what is the Z axis. I've already showed it, but then also I'm again going to show what this Z will do actually. Wait, I'm writing the code first. Okay, this is the movement code, and then what we want is, that is something that I want to show you guys, is if we actually change this value, this Z of translation, it will actually move forward. Let me see. Oh, not forward, it's moving backward. Oh, I forgot that it's not Unity. In Unity axes are inverted. Unity uses traditional rules, but Godot doesn't. If you increase it, it will actually move backward of where it's currently looking. You can see the player is looking on here, and it moves this backward side. It will increase it, and if we decrease it, it will move this side. Oh, if you are not familiar with mathematics, you will not understand why I'm putting minus on here. You should be familiar with mathematics if you are a game developer, remember. And it's what we want to control on Godot. It is the thing, let me see. Yeah, if we press the up arrow key, this if statement will be called, as the up arrow key is called with the UI up, and then this thing under if statement will be called. So if it will actually first get the z axis, this z that I saw you guys before, and of this position of move wait, it's actually not a transform. You can just do like this. We can actually assign it later, this move thing. It will actually, the move will increase by these numbers. Then the x will actually control this x of this if we use it under move and slide. Not right now, but later I'm going to show you how it will work. Not it is not possible to show how it will work, but it is possible to show that how to write that code, and I will show you that thing. Let's set this with Ctrl S on the keyboard. Now if you this is a kinematic body, it has a function called move and slide. If you put this move under that move and slide, I saw something that people use is vector tree up. I don't know why they use this, but I think it's a rule to do this, and I think it will actually take some it will not make the z variable y variable to not be null, and it's good. I think that's what I actually think about this, but I don't know why it's used. Now this move will actually increase this x and y x and z values with these numbers, this set of things that we did. And if we just play it, you can move with your arrow keys. You can see it is staying moving, so we need to do something, and it will not move actually how you want. First, let's fix the first thing that we will need to do. We'll need to see if the key is just released as this. So the move variable of z and x should get to 0. I will just copy this. Okay, let me copy this whole thing and paste them right here. With this release function, it will check for if the key is released, and if it's released, so this block, the things under the block of if statement will be called, and it will, if we release the keys, we want the appropriate values to be 0 to not stay moving. Now it will be a little bit code messy, but you can see it will now move, but it doesn't moving as you expected. It's even more not moving like I would expect. You can see if I'm pressing the arrow key and it is staying moving on one axis. Why? Well, because when I press the key, it will actually increase this thing. I think, let me see first. Yes, if you press this, it will make this x-axis to increase, and if we increase it, it will actually stay moving on this same axis, x-axis. But even if the player is rotated on here, so it will will move in this axis but on here, and the x we have control will actually only move on this axis, not this axis. That we don't want this move to this axis, we want to move this on this axis. To do that, luckily we have a function called I don't remember. Oh yeah, basis. The function, not a function, a variable named basis will make it to look on the appropriate things that we want. Now on the move jet, let's do transform basis, and this is that basis that I am talking about, basis jet. And don't worry, you can remove this dot x and dot z, yeah, like this. I don't know why it's also needed to be plus or minus, but just copy and paste them, write these things on these things. And on the left, don't worry, I also don't understand these things correctly. This basis is very complex thing. It just works if you put basis, and it will actually get the local position and rotation to move the objects, and it's all you will need to do. Oh, not, it is not finished yet. One last thing, move normalized. You will need to use this on move equals like this, and you can make it calculated, I mean multiplied by a value. Its default will be actually increased by 1, but if you put 5 here, it will increase as 5. And you can also add gravity by changing the y-axis of move, and it will move and slide will work with that move and will change its values like it. Okay, it's our final code. If we don't have any problem, you can copy and paste this code and full screening it. Pause the, okay, then you can copy this code and see if everything is alright. You should write correctly every word to make them work. Now let's see everything. If wait, it's happening because of this one should be 0. Okay, it means it is not our final code. Actually, I am having some problems. Let me see if I write vector30, what happens? Guys, I have found out. You should remove this just, I think, if it is on this 4. Ooh, I now know I should change it to X and change this to Z. Let's see if it works right now. Guys, now it's working, but the problem is with the WSD keys. Actually, I don't understand why it's happening. I think I have messed around on the input map. Let me see, I think I have put wrong things on the wrong side. Oh yeah, I am right. It will be actually now it will work. Okay guys, it's actually the final code. You can just copy and paste it. Here is all the code, and it's all for today. My next video can be about Blender or about Godot. Sorry to my subscribers, I was having problems with installing Windows 10 in my PC, so this video came lately. If this video is helpful, like it. You can also help me to get more views by sharing this video. Feel free to tell me anything in comments. To get more videos, the video tutorials about Godot every week, you can subscribe my channel. It's all today. Stay safe, stay healthy, happy game developing. Bye.